The job market in 2025 is a joke.
I got laid off from my corporate job yesterday.
Guys, I've been in recruiting for coming up to a decade, and I've never seen job seekers struggle as much as they are right now.
The September jobs report has been delayed by the government shutdown, but early private data looks absolutely brutal, and the long-term trend is even worse. For more than 2 years, America's job market has been in this downward spiral, month after month of weaker hiring and increased unemployment. And now we've reached a tipping point, something we haven't seen in years. There are more people out of work than there are jobs to fill. And if you've got a job right now, I would keep it and not assume that there is something better out there, because based on what I'm seeing, what's out there is worse. Even if you hate your job, our near future is not looking good. I'm Justin. This is Tater. Let's get into it.
Well, it's official. The 2025 job market is frozen. Over the past 3 months, the job market has only added 35,000 new jobs. That is the slowest rate since the global pandemic. And right now I'm hearing the word uncertainty a lot from executives. Uncertainty about global wars, uncertainty about tariffs, just uncertainty about the future. We're also continuing to see companies become extremely profitable, and those same companies are shedding large percentages of their people in mass layoffs. And now they can do that with AI and automation. All of this means that the 2025 job market is absolutely brutal, cooked, frozen, whatever you want to call it. So if you have a job, I would start getting your resume ready, start networking, and really prepare for the worst.
Well, based on what I'm seeing, we haven't hit rock bottom yet. We're still on the way there. And like he said, AI is taking a lot of human jobs. That is not slowing down anytime soon. If anything, it's going to accelerate and get worse. Governments are not protecting our jobs from AI. And then this global uncertainty doesn't seem to be going anywhere either. So I would, like he said, keep your job, because things are looking rough out there. And he spoke about these mass layoffs from companies that are very profitable. The mass layoffs aren't due to the problems with profit. We're seeing record highs in stock markets across the world. There are no issues there. The issues are for all of us, not the corporations. It depends on the industry a lot. I feel so badly for the people who pursued careers in tech. Yeah, a lot of them are getting let go, but I work in healthcare, she works in healthcare, and we are constantly hiring. I am seeing some positivity in healthcare and the trades. There are definitely some areas that seem to be AI proof, at least for the near future.
The job market in 2025 is a joke. It is not what they're saying it is. It's not all getting better. It's not all these jobs added to the job market. Audi laid off employees, Stellantis laid off employees. You had Microsoft kill 9,000 jobs.
There are so many jobs out there that people have been doing, obviously, for forever, but I see a lot of these jobs disappearing, and we've already seen it. Like he said, Microsoft has laid off a ton of people. I talked about that in a recent video. They let go of most of their AI department, including the director, so they all basically worked themselves out of a job. And one of the craziest things is this video came out 2.5 months ago, and things have gotten significantly worse since then. If we look down here in the comments, it's literally a recession. Our money is worth less. Taxes are high. Absolutely, I talk about the cost of living all the time. I just put out a video on that. I'll leave a link below if you want to check it out. But I mean, yeah, our cost of living has gone up so much, and that is not a recent thing. It's been happening for 50 years. I show some crazy stats in that video. Our cost of living is many multiples higher than it was in the 70s. Another comment, I've been out of work 6 months and applied for every job available in my field, and guess what? No calls. And I'm seeing so many examples of that. People out of work for 6 months, a year. It is rough out there. One more comment, it's the divide between rich and poor that's killing this country. The rich just don't care about the struggles below them. We need a reset ASAP, and I hope there is some kind of a reset that helps with the cost of living, because it has just been brutal, and this terrible job market and the mass layoffs just make everything so much worse.
You have top earners, top sellers, top dogs in the company getting canned. I'm one of the people that voted for Trump, and I gotta say, I'm highly disappointed in Trump right now. I'm highly disappointed in the lies that are being perpetuated to the American people. Corporate jobs are failing at alarming rates. People are losing their careers at alarming rates. And the recruiting right now is an absolute joke.
Now, look, I don't get political on this channel. I'm not impressed with the left or the right. So I will just say that I was very concerned when Erika McEntarfer got fired. She was the Bureau of Labor Statistics Commissioner. It was after yet another poor jobs report that she was let go. She was a widely respected economist who 86 senators voted to confirm to the position just last year. So if she was that bad, why was she put in that position? That firing was very concerning. It's really important to have independent data that isn't influenced by the White House. Many experts from the left, the right, the center, industry, academia, so many people denounced the firing. And now I have to say, I have serious concerns about the current jobs report and future reports, whether those numbers are actually real. Because what I'm seeing on the street, what we're going to see in examples here are people not getting jobs, people really struggling, and a job market that is pretty much dead. Now, that said, the BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics, remains one of the most respected independent producers of economic statistics and statistical research in the world, even if perhaps now it is not quite as credible as it used to be.
Bruh, did we just step back in 2021? Because for the first time in years, there are more people out of work than there are jobs available. They said the job market was strong, right? They told us that the companies were hiring, right? They also said that the economy was steady, but that's all a lie. There are 7 million job openings in the US right now, but there are over 7 million people waiting for jobs.
7 million jobs available. That includes ghost jobs, which are not even real. I talked about that on a previous video. So 7 million, I would say it's more like 6, 5, or maybe even less.
So essentially that means it doesn't matter how hard you grind because you got other people trying to fill out for that same spot. It's sad enough that one job is not cutting it in this economy and people can barely get that one job.
It's true. Certainly the average wage is not enough these days. And I've seen crazy stats. Something like 3/4 of Americans are having a tough time financially. And that is just crazy. How can the greatest country in the world be like that? But America's not the only one. Canada's terrible. It's rough in Europe, the UK, Australia. I'm going to get into some of that later on. This is a global thing. Looking down in the comments, I learned my lesson leaving a job before having another job. Yeah, it is a lot easier to get another job when you have one. That is one thing. Another one, I was unemployed for 18 months. Do not quit your jobs. Mental health is worse when you can't pay for anything or survive. It's better to be stressed with money than without. It sucks to say, but people just have to stick in the jobs that they hate, at least for the foreseeable future. Let me know down below, what has your experience been with the job market right now? Would love to hear from you.
Guys, I've been in recruiting for coming up to a decade, and I've never seen job seekers struggle as much as they are right now. Most companies I've worked with have struggled to find good quality candidates. But in this market, they are not having that issue. Especially for corporate positions, they are getting thousands of applicants. That's why we're seeing longer rounds of interviews. That's why we're seeing more assessments. That's why we're seeing companies be really, really picky. And it's why we're seeing lowball offers going out right now. It is brutal out there.
He is not exaggerating. The employers, the companies, they are in the driver's seat. Like he said, they can offer lower pay, put you through tons of interviews. Even people super overqualified are not getting the jobs that they are applying to. And if they are lucky enough to get the job, they're not getting the paycheck that they are used to. Looking down in the comments, yes, it's brutal. It's like the Hunger Games. Fact, it's brutal. And I've seen a ton of people saying that they're applying at Home Depot and McDonald's and they aren't hiring because there are so many young people who can't get a job out of school. The white collar entry level jobs are just drying up. I've talked about that on previous videos. And so those people are going to apply at your Home Depots and McDonald's. And there are tons of applicants, tons of applications for those jobs. So, I mean, where do you get a job these days? It's tough.
I've seen the most skilled people, most qualified people that can't even get the job that they're most qualified for because it's so competitive. Then they have to revert to smaller jobs that they're struggling to get as well. Bro, even when I do get frustrated and I have like long, hard days, I do try to remain grateful because I do understand how tough the market is nowadays.
It is obviously tough if we are in a job and hate it, but I mean, yeah, it's better than the alternative. And look, most of us aren't working in coal mines, right? Like in the 40s, my grandfather and his 4 brothers signed up to go fight in World War II, and somehow they all got back alive. But I mean, how lucky were they and the things that they saw? So when I have a bad day at work, I really try to be happy for everything that we do have. One of the comments, not me with a college degree and struggling to get employment in my field. I've been unemployed for 6 months and had 6 final interviews with no offers. It's so bad, and I have over 5 years of experience in my field. It's actually not that bad having 6 final interviews in 6 months. I've seen a lot worse than that. Another one reminded that I got a friend who has a degree in culinary, basically 4 years job experience, but still trying to find a job 2 years later.
These happen every year, but this is the biggest on record. So from April 2024 to March 2025, the economy added 911,000 jobs, less than we originally thought. But the biggest takeaway is the weakening in this labor market that we've seen over the last 4 months. What this data tells you is actually happening a long time ago. But here's some good news for those looking at interest rates. They want them lower. This puts pressure on the Federal Reserve to deliver an interest rate cut next week and prioritize the labor market.
And look, lowering the interest rate is great. A lot of people want to see that rate come down, but inflation is a problem and that can increase inflation. So things are just not looking great in the short term. And like she said, this is a long-term trend. One of the comments is great. Not surprising. Everyone has been saying this for the last few years. They tried selling us on the idea that the job market was great, but it wasn't. When you have companies cutting and not hiring along with AI, duh.
I can't even get an interview. Even with part-time jobs in retail or restaurants, I literally cannot get anything. Why is accounting a requirement for a receptionist position?
That's a great point. Employers can ask for just so much right now because they're in the driver's seat. So if they're looking for a receptionist, they can also demand that they have accounting experience. And speaking of experience, they're asking for 10 or 15 years of experience for jobs that are basically entry level right now. Looking down in the comments, I saw a job that wanted 5 years experience for $18 an hour. That's where we're at right now.
It's been 19 months and 21 days since I lost my job. And in this time, I've probably applied to over, 200 plus jobs. I have interviewed for jobs that I am well overqualified for.
Crazy comment by the creator, Jay. Ironically, about 30 minutes after this, I was offered a senior business analyst position at a known financial institution I'd interviewed twice 2 weeks before I made this video. Timing is crazy. So good for him, and I hope that's the experience for a lot of people out there who are struggling. Hopefully they get something sooner than later. He said he had only applied for 200 in, 18 months? So, I mean, that's not that crazy. I've seen people apply for 1,000 or more not getting the job. Another comment speaks to that. Sad part is 200 over 19 months isn't enough. Needs to be 200 per month. Yeah, that's probably about right.
I got laid off from my corporate job yesterday. And I think that this is the reality for a lot of Americans right now, and it needs to be shared because America is not doing well right now. We have a 94% prediction rate that the recession is going to come. And let's actually call it what it is, a depression. People can't afford groceries, they can't afford rent, they can't afford buying houses, they can't afford having babies. When I was hired to do a senior level role, I was forced into entry level positions, all while at the same time being asked to reduce my workload with AI, and our team was having layoffs every 3 months. But the thing is that it was not something that I saw coming, because the day before that they laid me off, I was literally talking coverage plans with another employee who was going on leave.
That's a good point. And another one, I've seen examples of people who just got promotions getting laid off. And there's really no situation I can't see. There's very few situations where people should feel safe in their job. Having a backup plan, applying for other jobs, looking at what else is out there and trying to find something that's maybe more secure, like taking a hard look at the jobs that we are in and whether they are safe from AI, safe from a layoff. I think it's more important now than it has been in a very long time.
I just think it's absolutely ridiculous that we live in a world like this where my manager wasn't even the one that fired me, by the way. It was frickin' HR, and they read off a script. But my whole team got laid off. My partner is a first responder, so I'm very lucky for the fact that I can be leaning on him for support right now. He has a union behind him. What I will never understand is why corporate agencies have not unionized. We're not allowed, right? That's part of it. We'll get fired because at least in this corporate world, they're always going to side on the side of business because that's what's making the government money.
Absolutely. The government's not going to help people get unions or keep their jobs or prevent AI job losses. And she talked about when she got let go, it wasn't even her manager. Her manager wasn't even in on the meeting. It was HR. I've seen tons of examples of that too. They were reading off of a script. I've seen examples of HR people not even prepared to answer any questions related to why the person was let go. And in a lot of cases, I'm sure the HR people can't even keep up with all of the layoffs. It's probably not their fault. One of the comments, I have a doctorate and was making $14 an hour. Another one, a recession isn't coming, it's already here. And if you look at everything aside from the stock market, I can't disagree. Another one, at least you're not in Canada, you have a fighting chance there. Speaking of Canada, that's where I'm from. Let's have a look at how bad things are up here. And if you're in the US or elsewhere, it might make you feel better.
The unemployment numbers are in Canada. For August 2025, we shed another 66,000 jobs. In total, this summer, we lost over 100,000 jobs.
Now, 100,000 might not seem a lot if you're in the US, but Canada's population is about 10% of the population in the US. So that is like the US losing 1 million jobs.
A lot of it in August was related to part-time jobs. So again, youth, seniors, people looking for part-time work, they were impacted yet again. It's not getting any better, guys. Sorry.
It is not getting any better, and I wish I could see the light at the end of the tunnel, but unfortunately, not seeing it. One of the comments, the economy is shedding jobs like my head is shedding hair. Another one, it's awful. So is universal income coming like they all want us to be on? And like, I don't know about that statement, but the universal income thing, I could see that being a potential future scenario with AI taking over so many jobs. I am just really skeptical that that universal income is going to be anywhere close to what people actually need to survive.
Give me a second. I'm going to blow your mind. Watch this. Young people want to work, but they can't. There's an unemployment crisis happening in Canada. When the youth can't find work, that is a clear sign of a recession. Stats Canada reported that youth unemployment rose to 14.6%, the highest rate in the last 15 years, not seen since 2010.
Yeah, look, Canada is not any better off than the US. We might even be worse up here. Things are rough. Obviously, the tariffs are causing a lot of uncertainty up here, but it's also AI job losses. There are just a ton of contributors to our problem, and it doesn't just stop at Canada and the US. This is happening all over the world. Looking down in the comments, my son is 19, has been looking for work for over 2 years. He desperately wants to work. It's sad. Another one, my son has been looking for work for 2 years now and still no job.
Unless it's unbearable, it's a smart idea to stay where you are. The job market is dismal. It's hard. People are still being successful, but it is hard. It's taking longer. I wouldn't be jumping on anything too soon because, number one, you might not like where you're going and you can't go to your old job. Sometimes when mass redundancies happen, the newer ones are the first ones to go. Just be mindful in the job market.
So things are rough in Australia as well. And she makes a great point. And I've seen a lot of examples of the grass is always greener where people move into another job because they don't like where they're at. They have some problem with the company, but then the job that they move into is significantly worse. Look, I've been in the job market for quite a while, and I can tell you every company has problems. So speaking with other people about what's going on where they work and really learning about what's happening elsewhere is really important before people jump ship, because the ship that they're jumping to might be worse than the one that they're already on. Looking down in the comments, I swear the job market is always dismal. Can't remember a time when people ever said it was good. And that is certainly how it feels right now. But look, it's only been like this for a relatively short period of time. Hopefully things get back to the way it used to be, because if we just look back 3, 4, 5 years, depending on where you are in the world, things were a lot better. People were in the driver's seat in terms of getting jobs. So hopefully we will get back there. One more comment. Me and a heap of my colleagues got made redundant. I managed to find a job, albeit at a massive pay cut. My other colleagues haven't yet found anything, and it's been 3 months. Like I've seen out there, 3 months isn't that bad. This guy's lucky that he got a job within 3 months. Seen people a year or more without a job.
It is really hard to find a job in Australia in 2025, and I cannot stress it enough. There is work in manual jobs because that's usually what Australians don't want to do, meaning there's a skill shortage, meaning there's jobs there.
I've seen a lot of comments related to younger people not wanting these more difficult jobs, the blue collar jobs. I think that's going to change, or it's going to have to, because the trades seem hot. Where there are openings, they're not these white collar jobs. Those ones, the entry level ones especially, are drying up. I'm not saying I agree that young people are lazy or anything like that. I'm just saying that the next generation, it seems to me, is probably going to not have that same reputation, and they are going to be after a lot of blue collar jobs because I don't know what else there's going to be. Some comments that some of you guys left on previous video I did on this topic. A lot of these people are out of work due to choice. An example, we have a meat fish packing plant in my town that pays $3 an hour over minimum wage. They are always hiring. If you want, you can walk in during the morning and start for the 3 p.m. shift the same day, but there is 8% unemployment in my town. A lot of people will not work outside a select few jobs, and that's totally true. I think a lot of people are going to have to change their mindset. They can't get the job that they really want, the ideal job, so they're just going to have to broaden and consider doing some of these other jobs. And I mean, I've talked about actually having to get by on minimum wage. I can't imagine. It is really rough. $3 above minimum wage is nothing, but I mean, if that's the best someone can find, then they're going to have to go for it in this environment. Another one, 50% of listings are fake. Companies get 500 applications in 2 hours, so ATS weeds them out. You have less than 3% chance of getting an interview this way. Networking is the best way to land a job, and I do not disagree. I've seen a lot of experts say the same thing. Network. I will leave a link below to the last video I put out on this subject. Later on in that video, there are some great ideas and strategies to help people get a job in this environment, so you can check that out. So what's your experience been? Where are you living in the world right now? What's going on there? Let me know down in the comments. If you know anyone who would like this video, please share. If you liked it, I would appreciate a thumbs up. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.